Hello my loves, this is Mystique and I welcome you to my digital sacred space. I hope you're happy, healthy and healing wherever you're watching from. Today we are doing a very special reading about first impressions. So what is your first impression on your future spouse and what is your future spouse's first impression on you or of you? So we are going to be looking at both sides today. I have done this reading before where I used cards. I think this one is going to be a watercolor reading. Specifically, I'm going to be using the technique that I created called thread painting, which I will tell you more about in your reading if you're new here. Today I decided to choose these beautiful cyanotype images or prints for you to choose from for your pile selection. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the process of cyanotypes, then cyanotypes is basically a slow reacting photography printing process where two chemicals are used and water is used to develop or fix it, and it produces these beautiful blue colored images. Of course, now these are like photographs of cyanotypes. These are not the real ones. These are from one of the artist's albums called Indigo, that album is by RM, and he recently released an album called Indigo where he wanted to express each of the songs with a cyanotype. So each of these cyanotypes have a song, and so these are different objects that we used, and we will see what these objects were and what it means for your reading. So basically these are what the cyanotypes look like, and these are two images that I was called to include, but the rest of them are cyanotype prints. So let's shuffle and choose what is going to be for pile number 1, please. For pile number 2, please. For pile number 3. Okay, I feel like okay. So we have two cyanotype prints for group number 1. We have one photograph for group number 2, and we have two again cyanotype prints for group number 3. So this is going to be group number 1. This is going to be your cyanotype print. If you feel called to this one, then this will be your pile / reading. If you feel called to this image right here, then this will be your reading. This one is group number 2. It's a beautiful image, and this will be group number 3. So let's begin with the prayer of gratitude. If you guys want to skip this prayer / meditation, it's okay, but if you would love to stay with me, then that would be great, because it helps me connect with your energies in the 5D, and that will allow me to accurately read for you. So I would like to start off this prayer by first thanking my dear soul who's watching this prayer, who's watching this reading right now. I call upon dear spirit guides, future spouse's higher self of my dear soul family, angels, ancestors, any light beings that love my pile number 1, 2, and 3, I call upon you with love. I request you to stay with me throughout this reading, throughout this prayer, and to connect with me to communicate the messages that their future spouse wants to give them, so they come to know all about the first impressions of them and their future spouse. I ask you, dear Spirit, to please bless all of the cards, to please bless every single person who's going to be clicking on this reading. I would like to begin with cleansing my energy and cleansing my aura and creating a safe space. I ask you, my spirit guides and angels, to please cleanse this space, to please cleanse this sacred space, to please cleanse my energy. I would also like to ask you, dear Spirit, to cleanse the energy and aura of my pile number 1, 2, and 3 who's watching this reading. Please cleanse the energy slowly and surely. Ask you, dear spirit guides, now that the cleansing is done, to please protect the energy and the energetic field of my group number 1, 2, and 3, my dear soul family. I ask you to connect me with my group number 1, 2, and 3. For any of you that are feeling disconnected, I ask you to please take a deep breath and allow the beautiful energies of this reading, the beautiful energies of your guides and your angels to touch you. It's okay for you to be happy. It's safe for you to be happy. It's safe for you to feel optimistic and be positive about your life, because things will eventually turn in your favor. I ask you, dear Spirit, to please keep any negative vibrations, any negative frequencies away from the sacred space, to please cleanse my energy and my soul family's energy of any negative frequencies, vibrations, energies, entities, to please remove all of them, so we can receive your guidance with an open heart and peace. For all those who are feeling hectic or chaotic recently, I had a very busy year. I pray for the energy of serenity and tranquility to enter you, to allow you to breathe and to rest within your body. It's okay for you to take a break. You don't have to be productive all the time. Resting is part of being productive. I thank you, Divine Soul, as you have stumbled across this channel and this reading, for choosing to choose this reading. I thank you, dear Spirit, for leading my soul family to me. If you are here, it's not a coincidence. you have been selected by Source to watch this reading, and I will now like to thank all of your spirit guides, angels. Thank you so much for allowing me the honor to read for my group number 1, 2, and 3, my soul family. And with that, I will close this prayer. I wish you a lot of love. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And the timestamps will be in the description, so you can go ahead and watch your bio. See you at your reading, love. Hello, my loves. If you chose group number 1, this is going to be your reading. You chose these 2 cyanotype prints. Let's see what these objects are. I feel like this is a stem, and I feel like each of this cyanotype prints represents one part or one partner or one energy. So one of them represents the masculine energy here, and the other one represents the feminine energy here. I do feel like this one is the more feminine one and this one is the more masculine one, but let's see which objects these are and what song each of these cyanotype prints represent. If you guys are unfamiliar with the process of cyanotype, it's basically a slow reacting chemical process of photography printing. It doesn't involve a camera, and it uses 2 chemicals. I think it uses potassium ferricyanide and ferric ammonium oxide. Actually, that's wrong. The second one is wrong. And water. It uses 2 chemicals and water to develop and fix. And I think there's something to do with the blue light spectrum, which is why they turn out Prussian blue in color. And the artist called RM, these photographs of cyanotypes are from his album. So each of these prints represent a song. So let's see what song it represents. So for this one we have Change Part 2. Okay, this one was produced by Eon, and I don't think there are too many lyrics, but yeah, that's the song, and these are pencil fragments, so that's why they look like that. How pretty. And then this one is, oh, these are the wildflower cyanotype in cement crevices. So this is 𝘠𝑚 by Soyujin, yes, featuring Soyujin, who did the chorus for this. This one actually I think is the title song. How nice. I feel like you're going to grab your future spouse's attention. First of all, this one, the name is also called Wildflowers, which is the track number 9, 𝘠𝑚. I think it's pronounced as 𝘠𝑚 because the ch here is silent, but if you guys speak Korean, let me know. I'm not sure. I'm feeling that you are number 1, or you are like a title song. Whenever an artist releases an album, they will often choose like one of the best tracks as the title song, because everyone is going to be first listening to that title song. So I feel like there's something about your future spouse first impressions is that you are like a title song of an album, like you get your future spouse's attention. And I feel like you're a wildflower, meaning that you are unique. There's something that doesn't make sense about you to your future spouse. There's something about you being like an angel almost, a bird almost, something elusive about you. Okay. So that was for the cyanotype messages. Let me see this one. What do you think of the masculine energy pencil fragments cyanotype? I feel like you're not going to notice the masculine energy first. Whoever is the feminine energy might not notice the masculine energy hovering or watching. I feel like for the masculine energy here, everything changes. We have the change part 2. There is also a part 1 which is not a part of this album. The change part 1 was released quite some time ago, I think, And the fact that these are pencil fragments makes me think that the masculine energy here could be like a writer, or could be interested in writing, could be interested in artist. I just heard artist, some kind of an artist, like writing songs or books, something creative. And I feel like when the feminine energy is noticed by the masculine energy, everything changes. So yeah, go ahead and listen to these two songs if you guys want. I'll try to leave them in the description if you guys are curious. This is definitely one of the best albums that I've heard in quite some time. Let's start with the thread printing process and let's see what are the messages. So let's start with the thread painting process. I have both of the threads ready. So the blue will be representing the masculine energy, and the rose of ultramarine or the magenta pinkish color will be representing the feminine energy. And if you guys are new to my channel, basically I'm an intuitive artist, so I channel messages and divine guidance from watercolors, and I have different watercolor techniques. This one in particular is called thread painting. So you'll see it functions like almost like a Rorschach test, because we'll see the reflection of this side on this side. So we're going to start with the feminine energy here. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Okay. So if you are a woman or you are the feminine energy watching this, then this part is going to tell you about how the masculine energy is perceiving you, or how the your future spouse, if you are into men, is perceiving you. So I'm going to pull out this thread. There we go. And a pattern, something like this, is formed on both of the sides. Wow. Yeah. Definitely a unique animal. Why am I hearing a unique animal? You're like you're a unique creature. And now when I say creature, don't get offended. That is just how your future spouse is seeing you. I think the masculine energy here sees the feminine here as someone who stands out in a crowd, who is unique. I feel like there's something about you that you do differently, and that gets a lot of attention, even though that is not your intention. You know, I feel like it's not attention that you're after, but I just feel like you unknowingly attract attention to yourself just because of how unique you are. There's something about your unique personality that I feel like is going to also draw the masculine energy in. I feel like it leaves your masculine energy in pieces in some way. I feel like it's going to make the masculine energy ponder and think, why, like, what is her deal, or what is the feminine energy's deal? I don't understand. Also, I'm seeing that, so maybe that is why the song called Change came out. Now this song called Change is one of the most unique songs on the album. I feel like all of the songs are a little bit from like a different genre, but the Change, I feel like, was a true experiment on RM's side. It's RM's album, and I feel like this one was one of the most unique songs. So I feel like there's something about both of your relationship being unique, or it's starting off in a way that is very unique, or it's not going to be like a cliche romance. There's something that's original to both of you, and I feel like if your future spouse proposes to you or come towards you, they are going to do it in a unique way. It's not going to be like what you see in the movies or something that's done before. I feel like they come towards you in a unique way. There's something about your energy being like water, soothing. So you could be an Aquarius and a water mixture. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and Aquarius from your energy. That's what I'm picking up. Some air energy as well, Libra, Gemini as well. But air and water is what I'm feeling from your energy. And there is also a certain childlike innocence to you. There is something angelic about you as well. If you look at this cynotype, this part right here is reminding me of an angel. Of course it's not, but that's just how I'm seeing it. That's just what it looks like to me, and it's quite beautiful. I feel like they think that the feminine energy, the masculine energy is thinking that the feminine energy is very beautiful, but I feel like it's not so much to do with your physical appearance, although they do find your physical appearance attractive. But I feel like it's your uniqueness that kind of gets their attention, that makes them kind of come towards you, or they feel pulled towards you, to come towards you, to kind of talk to you. I feel like the masculine energy here might be a little introverted, so they don't go around talking to strangers, but I feel like they are going to feel compelled to speak to you, to have a conversation with you. And it's not starting off as this like attraction and like a lot of chemistry and stuff like that, which can be a red flag, you guys. So it's starting off quite like with peace and with an openness and with curiosity, where your future spouse is genuinely curious about you. They genuinely want to know you. So I'm not seeing a lot of sexual energy here, which I think is a good thing. Those relationships that are based on chemicals don't last very long. So let's start with putting down the masculine energies thread and see what comes out. So I have this blue bowl. How is the masculine energy perceived by the feminine energy? Once again, I'm going to do the same thing. Wow. So this is what the masculine energies pattern looks like. Yeah, I did feel that, but this is reminding me of an elephant, or spirit is showing me an elephant right here. I feel like you're seeing, if you are the feminine sees the masculine as someone who is very solid, very grounded, possibly even successful. There's something about the masculine energy being well dressed. Maybe you guys are meeting at a party, or you guys are meeting around a lot of people, and I feel like the feminine energy notices the masculine energy, and it's like you'll think two words and then that's it. Like, the feminine energy is not paying too much attention, at least not the first time. I feel like it's the masculine energy who's noticing the feminine energy a lot for a longer time. I'm seeing a vase, some kind of a tall vase with flowers. And the second song that was there for the feminine energy was Wild Flowers. So something to do with flowers is here as well. Puppets, I'm seeing puppets. But you know how elephants are these huge animals, but they're so kind, they're so compassionate, they are so beautiful and so loving. And I feel like that is how your future spouse is. If you are the feminine here, then you think that your future spouse is someone who is very solid, almost like you might think that they are very ambitious, or I don't want to say cruel, but there's something about them being ruthless when it comes to being very determined with their goals. I feel like the feminine energy perceives the masculine energy to be extremely masculine, that they are not focused on love or relationships or anything like that, that the masculine energy here is very cutthroat, and the only thing they focus on is on being successful and like being the heir, or maybe they're from a rich family and they have a lot of pressures and they have to take care of things and they're very responsible. I feel like that's how the feminine energy is perceiving the masculine energy. That's for the first impression. But I feel like soon the feminine energy finds out that the masculine energy here is determined, but they are not cruel to other people. They are ambitious, but they have values. They are ethical. They are not just going to put someone down to be successful, right? The feminine energy finds out that the masculine energy is compassionate. They genuinely care about people, that they are doing something in life that involves helping people in some way, or being of service to people in some way, or giving them a product that is really helpful somehow. And I feel like there are a lot of malpractices in the world by companies, but I feel like this masculine energy in particular is trying to find ways where it's like a mutually benefiting situation, where the customers or people don't have to suffer for buying a product. You know how some companies will make changes to their products, or limit the product in some way so that they can get the customers to buy the newer products. For example, Apple used to do this. If for their older iPhones, they used to deliberately degrade the battery. So anybody who buys an iPhone, their battery would start degrading in 2 years. And then everyone started noticing that that's what was happening, and everyone eventually caught Apple doing this. And then Apple also admitted that and issued an apology. Now, the reason why they were doing this is because they wanted customers to buy their newer products, right? The new products. But the thing with Apple products is that you usually get a lot of quality, so you can use the products for a longer period of time. But if they degrade the battery, then it's like, well, this phone is useless, because what are you going to do if the phone doesn't even turn on, right? And that was very unethical of Apple. So I feel like there's something about that, like these huge companies, they will often do this, right? Like they do not care about people, so they use a lot of toxic practices like that is detrimental to people. And I feel like I'm seeing this part right here as almost like a hooded figure, or a figure in disguise or something, or there's something mysterious. The masculine energy finds the feminine energy extremely mysterious and beautiful. And I feel like one of you is not seeing the other's face when you guys first meet, or actually this is not even the first meeting, because I don't feel like you guys are talking during this is just impression. I feel like you guys kind of noticed each other from afar, but the masculine energy really noticed the feminine energy for sure. And you see how this color is kind of blended in together and mixed, the pink and the blue, and it turned into like this beautiful purple kind of shade. So I feel like the masculine energy really wants to, I feel like the masculine energy might be romantically feeling for the feminine energy, but they are not going to admit that. I feel like there's something about the masculine energy being like, no. I don't have romantic feelings for pile number 1. I feel like the reason why they're in denial could be because they're not looking for love, and they find the feminine energy at a time and a place in their life where they don't need love. That's what they think. They think they don't need love, okay? But I feel like that's not true. That's not true. I want to get one crystal that signifies both of your energy, and then we will end this reading. So let's get one crystal for each. One crystal for the masculine energy, please. One crystal for the masculine energy. I feel like this is the crystal, and then one crystal for, oh my god, I'm gonna take the red one. Okay, look at that. We have blue and red, and it's the exact same shape. It is the exact same shape. Are these the same crystals? No, they're not. Okay, so we have the masculine energy being represented by the crystal sapphire. Royalty, wisdom, knowledge. Yeah, royalty. I told you. They're rich. I feel like your future spouse, the masculine energy here, is rich somehow. They've either inherited that or they have built an empire or built a company by themselves. There's something about that. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this. I'll hold it up if you guys want to read what it says, but here the signs are Virgo, Libra, Sagittarius, Moon, and Saturn. There's something about your future spouse being very focused and concentrated on you, for sure. Sure. A gem with a regal presence throughout history. I feel like that is how your future spouse is. Someone wise, someone powerful, someone compassionate. But that's not how you might see them at first, but you'll come to know that they are someone like that. Wow, that's a beautiful crystal. And this one we have the very beautiful red colored garnet. Ah, so pretty. We have sexuality, life force, intensity. Yeah, that is why I was feeling that someone is like almost sad to hear that there is no like intense sexual attraction in this, but I feel like it's a good thing that your future spouse doesn't want you for your body or doesn't want you because you're hot. They really genuinely are curious about your unique personality and your unique behavioral patterns. That's what I felt. So yeah, we have, this is sexual healing in its highest form. Wow. Garnet can heighten the experience, attracting partners that can help. I feel like you might be manifesting your future spouse, or you are in the process of healing your self-sabotaging behaviors, and that is why this sapphire, this masculine energy is coming into your life. And once again, I did say that I'll be doing like this pinkish color for the feminine and the bluish color for the masculine, and you have blue sapphire and red garnet. So I feel like that's not a coincidence, but I feel like there is no such thing as like a self-sabotaging behavior, because let's say if we take any self-sabotaging behaviors or patterns as an example, like self-hate is really that part of you that knows that it won't be loved unless you reject another part of yourself, right? So the self-hate has come so that you can push a part of you away to get the primary caregiver or a parent or an authority figure's love, because they don't have full acceptance for you. They don't have unconditional love for all parts of you, for everything that you are, for all of you. And so the child will often kind of use hate, because that's what they are receiving from the outside. They're receiving some kind of rejection, and that's how they learn to reject that part of them. Like, let's say if a girl is too loud and the father doesn't like it, the girl is going to reject that loudness, right? And she might become like a people pleaser, or might not be very assertive or loud, because it's not something that's welcomed. It's not seen as something worthy, and it's not seen as a beautiful trait. So that is how self-hate is kind of born. So any negative patterns or self-sabotaging patterns are really trying to keep you safe. When you were a child, it's important to have like your parents' approval or validation, because that's how you ensure that you'll be safe. If your parent throws you out when you're 4 years old, you're not going to survive on the street. A child cannot do that. So when we grow up, these are the very traits that kind of hold us back, and spirit kind of calls us to heal all of these patterns and behaviors. And I feel like in this relationship, I feel like with your future spouse, they are going to accept all of you. All of you will feel safe, all of you will feel welcome. And when I'm saying all of you, I don't mean everyone that's watching this pile, but I mean every single person and every single person's parts, right? All of you, one individual, right? It's accepted and loved, respected and admired, and there is a lot of respect here from your future spouse to you. If you are the feminine watching this, the masculine here loves everything. If you express your sexual energy in a unique way, or if you express your creative energy in some kind of a unique way that no one has seen or known, I feel like they are going to look at that as if you were a miracle or something down like into the relationship as you guys get to know each other. And this is going to turn into a very fruitful, meaningful, purposeful relationship. And I feel like this is definitely one of the relationships that you're destined for in your life. To experience this deep love is something that's written in your destiny. I feel like you've craved being loved, and you're going to get it for sure. So this reading is also functioning as a confirmation. If you're listening, if you made it this far into the reading, then this is definitely a confirmation for you. Okay, my loves, so this is your reading. I'll leave the link of the songs in the description so you guys can go ahead and check it out. I hope you liked your thread painting, your crystals, and this reading. I'll see you in my next reading. I take the time to thank you, divine soul, to thank the sacred painting, the sacred cards, the sacred cyanotype. Thank you so much for allowing me to channel for my group number 1. I'll see you in my next reading. If not, I thank you so much for watching this one. Heart. Bye. Hello, my loves. If you chose this photo, then your group number 2, or this is going to be your reading. As you can see, there are lights in this photo, and this is also one pile, the only pile that didn't get a cyanotype print or image. You guys got this photo. I was actually called to put this photo in the cyanotype cards because this one is just a photo card, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna do cyanotypes, but for some reason this had to be there, and I knew that this was going to come out for one of the piles when I was shuffling, so I am not surprised that this came out. Also, this song is Hectic with Cold by RM. This is your song. So I feel like the chorus lyric is something like, yesterday was so hectic, there was nothing romantic. If I could only imagine something. I'm forgetting the lyric. Hold on. Let me just check. Yeah, so basically this is a rap song, and one of the lyrics that is in this song is met all kinds of people, and that he's met all kinds of people talking same shit, and there's, you know, he's talking about how every day is such a hectic day for RM, and he's met a lot of people and they all are talking the same thing. So there's something about you guys' life being hectic. I feel like this is true for both of you. Even your future spouse is very focused on your career, on your goals. There's something about you very focused on your accomplishments, and it's like your life is kind of speeding up, you know, like every day passes you by and you're just focused on your work and you don't even realize, and then it's been like a whole year. A year is over, and now if you're watching this when I upload, then 2023 is over. This video is being filmed in December, so we're going to be stepping into 2024, and I feel like there's something about you have worked so hard in 2023, and I can feel that some of you guys are thinking that, oh, I haven't worked hard at all, or oh, I haven't done anything. This is just you being very hard on yourself. And when I say you guys have worked hard, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you guys have worked hard like in the physical world. It can also mean that you guys have just been transmuting a lot of trauma. You guys have been doing a lot of inner work, a lot of healing, a lot of shadow work. That takes a lot of work as well. That is exhausting, and I'm so proud of everyone who's chosen this pile, because you guys are my hard workers for sure. So you guys might also love the color blue, and maybe that is why you were drawn to this reading. But I do feel like there is something unique because you guys are the only pile that didn't get a cyanotype. You got this motion blur image. Now, when you are driving too fast or you take a photo with a low shutter speed, I think you can get this motion blur kind of effect. Or if you move the camera like fast, you don't keep it stationary, you'll get this effect. So I feel like there's something hectic about you, like you're moving fast towards your goals or you're moving fast in life. You guys could also be my Plutonians, my 8th house, my Scorpios. You don't have to be, but I just feel like there's something about you just transforming yourself. It's like if someone was to meet you, someone's that met you a year ago and now you're a different person. Like if they met you today, you're a different person. And that is not to say that that's bad. I feel like you're just improving a lot. You're just perfecting yourself. I feel like you're obsessed with perfecting yourself or accomplishing your goals, your dreams, and I feel like you don't stop for anyone. You don't stop. There's something unstoppable about you. There's something about your energy that feels very restless. I feel like you guys might be the type to not rest a lot, honestly. And I feel like that's true for your future spouse. So let's see. I'm curious about first impressions and I want to do the masculine energy first. So I'm going to take this blue color, the thread dipped in blue, and then we will see for the feminine energy how feminine energy is being perceived and how the masculine energy is being perceived. So let's start. If you guys are new to my channel and if you guys have clicked on my reading for the very first time, then my name is Mystique and I'm basically an intuitive artist from India. And the way I channel, I used a lot of art, specifically watercolors, in my channeling. So if you guys know about the candle wax readings and coffee grounds reading, I have my own version. I've created my own way of channeling and I basically used a lot of watercolor techniques, and this one in particular works like almost like a Rorschach test because you'll see how it reflects. Except I'm reading your energy and not so much your psychology. Yeah, let's get to it. I feel like some of you are curious about how I found out that this was the way for me. It's because I have always had a connection with the sacred element of water. I am very watery. Even in my natal chart, I have a lot of water signs, so I've always felt very connected to water. So I am not surprised that art is the way I am spiritual or I channel. So that's how I stumbled on it. Also, you guys might feel called to some of the other elements, which is like earth, or which would be sand or soil or leaves. Some of you might feel a connection to air. So it's really like an individual thing. And I've also been drawing and painting ever since I was a kid. So yeah, art is in my blood, basically. Wow. Look how vivid, first of all. The masculine energy is making a strong impression on the feminine energy because the phthalo blue here is just coming through. If you guys didn't watch the first pile, then their blue was a bit light, on the lighter side. This is what their thread painting looks like, and of course it's beautiful, but every single thing tells me something about the energy. And the fact that your blue is so blue, can you see that? I don't know if it's going to show true on the camera, but it is so blue and it's so pretty. This is one of my favorite shades of blue. You guys should really listen to the album Indigo. You guys might like that because it's a very unique album and each song is like a different genre. So you guys might just find like your favorite song in there. Some of you might have already heard the songs in the album if you guys already know about RM and his music and his albums. Okay, so first I'm seeing a bird. Why am I seeing a bird? Spirit. There's something about the feminine energy kind of noticing the masculine energy passing by. And I feel like the masculine energy usually gets a lot of attention. Okay. So the masculine energy is just walking by and, he knows that everyone's watching. And I feel like the feminine energy is one of the people that notice the masculine energy. Why are you showing me a bird, Spirit? But there's something about the masculine energy here having like the opposite appearance and having an opposite personality trait. So for example, some people, how they have like a resting bitch face, but they are so kind. Like if you talk to the girl, she's so kind and she's so happy and she smiles, and people don't expect that if you have a resting bitch face, which some of you guys might do. But I feel like there's something about your future spouse looking very stern, very Saturn like. I feel like there is a lot of Saturn, and even this color and this thing, if you look at the asteroid belt around Saturn, you guys will see that Saturn is always surrounded by rings. This one of the planets, it's the ring of asteroids, made up of asteroids, and if they are like moving very fast in motion, this is exactly what it looks like. That is why it's shown like a ring. It's not actually like a ring, okay? It's just that the asteroids are present and there are gaps and spaces, but because they're moving so fast, it's almost like it looks like a ring around Saturn. That's very interesting. Yeah, Saturn is definitely, they could have like Saturn touching their ascendant, your future spouse, or the masculine energy here. The masculine energy here could have long hair, could be attracted to waterfalls, could be your future spouse looks stern or angry, or someone who is very Saturn like, look like a strict father or something, but or a strict boss. But I feel like the feminine energy is going to instantly know when the first time the feminine notices the masculine is that, oh, I see the masculine energy, it has a heart of gold. And I feel like you'll know this somehow the first time you lay your eyes on the masculine energy or your future spouse. You're going to know that he's kind, he's compassionate, he's empathetic, he's emotional, he's sensitive. I feel like there is almost a beautiful vulnerability and fragility, which is why I'm seeing this like a bird. But the bird looks so, it's not an eagle, okay? And it's like a hummingbird, a small bird, a bird that you can kill easily. And there is a certain fragility and there is a certain beauty to that fragility. Just because someone is not an eagle doesn't mean that they are not attractive, right? But there is a certain, I feel like this is a good thing. Why? Because for people that have like a very eagle-like personality, one of the shadow traits could be that they eat other people up, like they gobble up other people's success. That could be a shadow trait. But I'm feeling that your future spouse is not like that. Your future spouse doesn't want to do that. And I feel like they don't, even though they might, when people look at them from afar, they might think that your future spouse is very strict or something like that. But that's actually not the case. There's something about like there being some kind of a contrast between what they look like and what they actually are. There's a difference. And I feel like your future spouse doesn't meet a lot of people that can know their inner personality. And I feel like if you are the feminine energy is going to know exactly that the masculine energy here is very kind and loyal and empathetic and peaceful, tranquility, serenity. I feel like the masculine energy really just wants to be happy, just wants to create, just wants to be focused on goals, just wants to achieve. Like they are very driven, but they are very driven not because of competition. They are driven because they want to be good at what they do, like they want to create what they want to create. They want to do what they want to do. That's the masculine energy. I feel like they are not trying to be better than any other men they have seen or any other masculine energies, any other successful people. I feel like they know themselves and they have their own version of success. So they are very self-assured. I feel like they're very self-assured, which is something that the feminine energy is going to find attractive. There seems to be some kind of a gap between these two structures right here, which is almost looking like a bulb or one single petal. Okay. This is reminding me of a bridge. It's not a bridge, but in the movie Avatar, if you guys have seen AVATAR, the movie Avatar, in the first movie, you'll see that both of them are like taking the veins and like the veins that are hanging from the trees, and almost walking on the branches as if they were a bridge to another tree, right? That's how they kind of travel, because obviously there are no cars. And this is kind of reminding me of that, like someone is going to have to build a bridge, or someone is going to have to walk towards the other. I'm not quite sure which one is which. If I'm not being shown, it might be different for each of you, which is why I'm not even getting like a general message. Let's start with the feminine energy now. So I'm taking this thread, which was dipped in. If you guys are curious about my watercolor supplies, I use Daniel Smith watercolors and Winsor & Newton watercolors. So this shade is called Rose of Ultramarine. As you guys can see, it separates into this pink and purple because there is ultramarine in it. And this shade is called Phthalo Blue, one of the most beautiful blues that I own. I feel like this reading is going to get interesting. Now that I've pulled out the thread, let's see the patterns for the feminine energy here. Whoa, wow. Okay. Definitely very unique. The blue is so invasive. All you can see is blue. So this is what it looks like up close. The pink is so light. The rose of ultramarine color is so light. For some of you, I'm feeling that the feminine energy falls in love with the masculine energy, or is very attracted to the masculine energy. And I feel like that happens first. That is what is happening first. And something happens. Okay. Now take this as it resonates. It's not going to apply to everyone. So if you are like, okay, if the masculine energy doesn't love me, I don't want to be in a relationship like that, then you're right to say that. It's totally up to you. I'm just seeing I'm just telling you what I see. If you don't want that, you can just not claim it. You can change your energy. The future is always in motion. So it's not like I'm here sitting, predicting your future and telling you that this is exactly what is going to happen and you cannot change it. You are creator of your own reality, and you can always change if you don't like an element of a reading. But I'm seeing that there's something about water, something about the feminine energy here. I feel like the masculine energy doesn't realize that they are going to fall in love. And I feel like it's a very slow process. And one day they are going to wake up and kind of be a little scared that they fell in love with the feminine energy. It's kind of taking them by surprise almost. And I feel like at first they are not going to like it because they didn't plan for it. And it's like, well, you can't plan for love. Love kind of happens to you. So that's what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing that the feminine energy is going to be very supportive to the masculine energy in this relationship. Incredibly supportive, incredibly supportive. But what is the first impression, Spirit? Why am I not getting anything? I feel like the masculine energy might not notice the feminine energy. Oh, it's not attraction. Even if you notice each other, I feel like you're not going to be attracted to each other. Like, you guys are so focused on your own goals. Like I said, like, you guys are very focused. You're not looking for love, and that is why maybe I'm not picking up any energy as to first impression. It's like the first encounter. I'm being shown the first encounter, and you guys don't even think too much about it. It's like you saw a stranger's face and they just passed you by, and you don't realize in that moment that, oh, this is my future spouse, this is my life partner. And rightfully so, because you can't see the future. So you guys are not giving a lot of heed or a lot of attention to that, meeting of the eyes, or noticing each other. And there's something about the masculine energy being very busy. You know what this is reminding me of? This is reminding me of a K-drama called Business Proposal. Okay, if you guys have already seen that one, oh my god, it is so good. It is, whenever I get stressed, I watch that one just because it uplifts my spirit. It's such a happy show, it's a happy story, and it's funny. If you there's this main character called 𝘠𝓻𝓵𝑖. This is also in South Korean. Okay, so the names are South Korean, 𝘠𝓻𝓵𝑖, and I forgot the male character's name. Anyway, he's the CEO of the company, and she's basically like an employee. And if you guys see, like, all of the times she meets him as the employee, okay, now she's playing this other girl also, but whenever she meets him as an employee, there's the scene of in the elevator where she kind of drops her ID. She drops her like ID, and he calls her to get it, and she doesn't face him because she's scared that he'll recognize her. So she turns around, okay. She turns around and kind of takes it like that, like, like, she doesn't take it like that facing him. She takes it like that, like, she doesn't even look at him, which he finds very bizarre and weird. And so he goes to his office and then Googles, like, who is this girl. Thankfully, he doesn't recognize, that she is the girl he went on a date with. But if you guys see the drama, you'll understand. Basically, if I just can get into a little bit of detail, just because I'm being shown that drama. 𝘠𝓻𝓵𝑖's friend is set up with the CEO on a date, but she doesn't want to go on the date because she's tired of CEO people. Okay, so she tells 𝘠𝓻𝓵𝑖 to go as her. Okay, so she's basically posing as her. So the CEO thinks that, oh, he's meeting 𝘠𝓻𝓵𝑖's friend, when actually he's meeting her disguised as her friend. And she does this whole like drama thing just to make him dislike her, but he ends up liking her a lot. And finally she has to reveal that she is her. She is 𝘠𝓻𝓵𝑖. And he comes to know that, oh, we're in the same company. So this could be like the same workplace thing, or there's something confusing about. So it's like a unique circumstance, right? Because this is such a unique circumstance and it's so rare. I feel like this doesn't even happen in real life. Obviously, it's a drama, it's a show. So obviously, it's not realistic. But I feel like there's something confusing about each of you or all of you to your future spouse, or the other way around. And it's almost like you guys might not want to fall in love, but you guys are falling in love slowly and then quickly, as if you fall asleep. That's what I'm seeing. Let me get some crystals for you and then we will end the reading. So one crystal for the masculine energy and one crystal for the feminine energy. I'm feeling these two crystals. Yeah, this one is the feminine energy, this one is the masculine energy. We have Sujilite, originality, forgiveness, unconditional love. So we have Virgo, Sagittarius, Jupiter, living your truth. Yeah. I feel like I already said, your future spouse is going to unconditionally love you, support you. You're always going to feel like you belong. You're never going to feel like you're alone. yeah, for sure. Even if your future spouse tends to be very much in their head or very much in this hectic space where their mind is on fire and their mind is thinking of like 100 different things, I feel like your future spouse is someone who's original, authentic. They will be very loving towards you, even if I feel like they will ask your forgiveness. They will not be sometimes some masculine energies have this pride of like they won't admit what they did wrong, but I feel like your future spouse or the masculine energy here doesn't have that, and I feel like they will just straight up like be honest and apologize. And you see how like the purple here is matching the 𝘧𝘰𝘳𝘠 there, and this as well. So not surprising. Then we have, for the feminine energy, tree agate, stability, grounding, root. Once again, not surprised. And then again, we have Virgo and Mercury. Yeah, the feminine energy, you are going to make your future spouse feel safe. I feel like the feminine energy here helps the future spouse, helps the masculine energy to be less negative, to be less critical of their own self, to kind of, I feel like the feminine energy pulls the masculine energy out of any anxiety or trouble or worry and provides like a safe space spiritually, and then the masculine energy here provides a safe space physically. So that is what is happening for you. I hope this reading was informative and helpful. I take the time to thank all of the cards, to thank this beautiful sacred painting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, cards and paint, for allowing me to channel for my divine and sacred pile number 2. Hopefully I'll see you in my next reading. If not, I thank you so much for watching this one. Heart. Have a great week. Hello and welcome, my loves. If you chose group number 3 or you chose these two cyanotype print images, then this is going to be your reading. So like I already mentioned in the intro, each of these cyanotype print images represents a song, because this was actually from the album called Indigo by the artist called RM, and these are actually from his album, cyanotype print images from his album. So each of these represent a song on the album. So we'll have this one represent the feminine and this one represent the masculine energy. So let's see. So we have, for the masculine, we have the song called Hectic with gold, and this one is string with wildflower. This is what it looks like. Wildflower sings string. So these are the two objects that we used to create this cyanotype. If you guys are curious about how it turns out to be so blue, you guys can go ahead and Google, although I've talked about it a little bit in the intro, but I don't want to waste your reading time. So yeah, we have this chiffon cloth on OHP film paper, which is also a cyanotype, and we have the song called Lonely. I feel like this is one of the saddest songs from this album. I'll link the songs for you so you guys can go ahead and listen to the whole album if you wish, or just your songs if you wish. But I feel like the feminine energy here is definitely, as the name suggests, is lonely. I feel like you feel lonely without a partner, or you feel lonely without your future spouse by your side. And I feel like it's been a while since you have been trying to manifest love, or you have been asking spirit, where is my future spouse? I want to meet him. I feel like you might have clicked on this reading because you want to know. You're curious. It's like there's something about you band-aiding something by watching future spouse readings, and you don't need a band-aid, you need a whole plaster, because there is a wound, there is a deep wound and a band-aid won't cut it. So watching these readings is great that you do watch these readings, because it's going to help you connect with the energy of your future spouse and their higher self. But I also feel like there needs to be some shadow work, there needs to be some inner work. For those of you that are already doing, please don't take this message. Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? If you're already doing the work, then you don't need to. Just take your time, do it slowly. But for those of you that are not familiar with shadow work or paths work or meditative processes like the connection process or the completion process, you guys might want to go ahead and check those out. I feel like if you don't heal your trauma, and I'm not saying that you have to completely heal your trauma, but at least to the point that you do have some self-love, I feel like your self-love is going to be the vibration or the frequency that brings your future spouse in. And because you're not in that vibration or frequency, your future spouse is not coming in. So it's not like universe wants to punish you or something, or universe is deliberately keeping your future spouse away from you. It's not like that. It's just that this mirror reality responds to your current vibration, okay? So even the universe cannot break the law of mirroring, or the law of attraction already exists. So everything functions like that. But let's see about your first impression, since that is why you came here. So we'll have the blue represent the masculine energy, and then we will have this rosy color for the feminine. So let's start with the masculine energy first. Wow, absolutely no knots. Love that. Wow. There's something about the masculine energy being perceived as someone who has a lot of clarity in life. I just heard the word clear. So could have like clear skin, or there's something about their mind being very clear, or they are being perceived by the feminine energy as someone who knows what they want to do in life. The masculine energy is being perceived by the feminine as someone who knows what they want in life. Like there is no confusion, basically. There is an absence of confusion. So I'm just going to pull the thread, and then we will see. What we have. I can tell it's beautiful. Oh my god. Wow. It's kind of matching the colors right there. Yeah, your future spouse is your future spouse. The masculine energy here is definitely coming off as very vivid, like one of a kind energy. Now pile number 1 had this like huge message about being unique, so maybe you were drawn to pile number 1 as well. But I feel like for those of you that were not drawn to pile number 1, that are only watching pile number 3, I feel like there's something about you guys, you or your future spouse being like one of a kind. Like people like your future spouse, you don't just meet them every day, okay? This is a very unique individual, a very accomplished individual, a very calm and serene. I feel like whatever your future spouse or whatever the masculine energy's purpose in life is, especially this incarnation in particular, it is definitely not common to see that. I feel like your future spouse was someone who had a very specific and a very unique pre-birth intention. You know how before we incarnate, our higher self, basically, or if you want to call us soul, our soul will basically look at different timelines and different possibilities. If you were to opt into this family or that family, or this one and as that one, what will happen and what leads to the most expansion and most growth and transformation. That is the timeline that a particular soul will choose, and then they will come into a certain family for that expansion to occur. And I feel like there was a very unique pre-birth intention with your future spouse, and there's something about the energy being almost like electric, feeling like electricity. But it's not chemistry, it's very electric, okay? There's something about your future spouse being maybe eccentric or eclectic in some way or unique in some way. I'm being reminded of Tim Burton movies. If you guys are familiar with Tim Burton's art, I want to call it art. I mean, he's made a lot of movies, but Edward Scissorhands was one of the movies, and yeah, there's definitely some kind of uniqueness, like the character Edward Scissorhands. If you guys have seen that movie, Edward is basically played by Johnny Depp, and nobody talks to him, okay? Because he has scissors for hands, he doesn't have real hands. So, but he has this beautiful skill that he turns, he cuts a garden and then he'll turn it into a teddy bear, or he can turn a plant into, like, those shapes. If you guys have seen, like, they cut it in a very specific way, and then you'll see like the Eiffel Tower, but it's made up of trees and leaves and that kind of art, and he can create that. And I feel like he has that skill, okay? But and people are quick to kind of be like, oh, we love you now. Oh, but they used to be scared of him before. They used to be afraid. They didn't want to talk to him because he was dressed in like all black, and technically he's not a human being. I feel like he's very human, but technically he's not a person. And because he was made up by joining like different parts in a factory by his father or his grandfather, and his father basically died before he completed him, and he basically had to take scissors for hands, something like that, story like that. But I feel like Edward is one of the kindest, most sweetest character in that movie. And there is this another woman who is so devious, who tries to seduce Edward, basically. And then she goes and turns around, okay, and puts the blame on him and accuses him of sexual harassment and molestation, okay? And God, like, I don't like this woman at all, the character. But basically you get the gist, right? Like, he's very innocent, so he's taken advantage of, and he gets frustrated with how people have changed in treating him, how their perception has changed just because this one woman chose to lie. And he wants to like go back to being alone and wearing all black and leather, and that's what I'm seeing. He also has a lot of scars on his face, which this first woman who is trying to sell cosmetics tries to tell him that, oh, you can use this and you can use this product and this, because she's like supposed to sell those products. So yeah, and that's how the movie starts. And she's very kind to him, and she allows Edward to meet her daughter, and he falls in love with her daughter. And I feel like that's a little bit how it's going to be. I feel like the world might misunderstand your future spouse, but I feel like from you, there's going to be a lot of safety. If you are the feminine energy watching this, I feel like from your side, there's going to be a lot of safety that your future spouse feels, or the masculine energy feels. They're going to feel very calm in your presence. I feel like that is what is being noticed. I don't know why I'm being taken to how energetically it's going to be, but even though we asked for first impressions, but I feel like if it's coming out, then maybe, someone needs to hear it, then it has a purpose if it's coming out. So that's why. I'm also seeing that someone could be praying for their other half, or for their soulmate, or to fall in love. Someone is praying. I don't mean this in like necessarily a religious way, but I just feel like someone is praying to the universe that they meet their soulmate, or they meet their future spouse, and that wish is going to be granted. You're going to fulfill that desire. I'm also seeing like a lot of petal formations almost right there. This is reminding me of a Venus flytrap, which is a omnivorous plant. the plant basically eats insects, eats animals. So I feel like there could be your future spouse is misunderstood or their innocence is taken advantage of, but I feel like that's the very thing that you're going to be attracted to. Now, that is not to say that your future spouse is stupid or something like that, but your future spouse is definitely very skilled. So that is why people want to kind of take advantage of their innocence and their skill set. And I feel like for some of you, your future spouse already knows, because I feel like they've grown up and they've noticed this pattern in people, how people start acting weird and like they are not treated like a normal person for whatever reason. There's some kind of objectification going on, or there's something about dehumanizing the masculine energy here. Usually that's the feminine energy, right? Like feminine energy people or women go through a lot of stuff like that, where they are not seen as human beings. They're seen as objects or trophies or achievements or things, but they are not seen as a human being. But here there's something about the masculine energy suffering that for whatever reason. This is also reminding me a little bit of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was, as you know, an icon. He's called the king of pop. Now, if you see his personality, like if you see any of his interviews, which is so rare because he didn't like interviews, he was very introverted, okay? He was abused as a child by his father, and he was very shy. But when he was on stage, everybody fell in love with him because he expressed this raw energy, and he moved with music. He became the music. And I feel like that is one of the reasons why he's so revered and remembered. And people, when he basically, I think, has this disease where the pigmentation of the skin is lost. And so he was black, but he started losing that skin color, and he slowly became white. And so people were like, oh my God, what's wrong with Michael Jackson? Is he getting surgeries to look white? And no, he didn't get surgeries to look white. It's just that he was having this disease where he lost all the pigmentation. I think there is a name for it. Someone is going to comment, I know, but the name is escaping me right now, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm just not going to mention it. But I feel like he was also very misunderstood. He was also very abused by the media and people, because everybody wanted him for his power, or they wanted to be his friend because they were popular. And he was such a sweet and kind human being that loved children, and he was such a misunderstood artist. I feel like he is one of the geniuses of the human being race, who wasn't understood, who was extremely talented. He needed support, he needed love, he needed to be understood. And unfortunately, there was no one around to give him that. And then everything, like a lot of things turned ugly in his life, where people started accusing him. Like that's the kind of vibe I'm feeling from your future spouse. Like your future spouse is very unique, has some kind of a unique talent that no one can replicate or copy. People copy Michael Jackson to this day. His signature dance moves, like the moonwalk, like people copy that to this day. That's how iconic he was. And there's something like that about your future spouse. I don't know if your future spouse is going to be famous or something, but there's something extremely skilled and like original, unique. Like your future spouse is known by the community or the people around that, okay, why don't we ask the masculine energy? Like, why don't we ask like pile number 3's future spouse? Like, they are very, they know. Like, that's the kind of energy I'm picking up. There was a lot that came through for the feminine and the masculine energy, sorry. I feel like the feminine energy wants to protect the masculine energy here. There's something childlike. It's not immature. There's something childlike to the masculine energy. And I feel like masculine energies today, or the men today, are forced to kind of give up that innocence, give up that vulnerability, because it's seen as weakness. it's not seen as a sign of strength. So a lot of them are forced to give that up. But I feel like your masculine hasn't given that up. They still have that. They still have a pure soul and a pure heart. They still wish good for people. They still are kind. They still are compassionate. They are still loving, and I feel like they always will be. And I feel like you come to appreciate these qualities of your future spouse, where it's almost like you want to take care of your future spouse and want to protect each other from the world, because somewhere you also are innocent and beautiful, the feminine energy. And I feel like you guys want to protect each other. It's like you're mirroring each other. And again, the feminine energy is this chiffon being represented by the chiffon cyanotype. So yeah, the feminine energy here is delicate but strong, has like steel, balls of steel, I want to say. But that's what I heard. Once again, look at that. How vivid, and how big. Like, I feel like this was one of the thread paintings where like the patterns are so big, literally. Like, I feel like you contain your future spouse, or one of the energies provides containment, right? Like, provides a safe container. Like, here you can express yourself, here you can like be yourself, here. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting. I feel like there is this I feel like you're going to know that you love each other, but not so much in a romantic way. When I say love each other, I feel like you guys are loving each other during the first impression, or during first coming across each other. And when I say love, I don't mean it's like a romantic attraction and sizzling and all that. I feel like when I say love, I'm talking about the ability to accept someone as they are, specifically that quality. And I feel like you guys will accept each other as you are, with no changes, with I feel like you don't ask your future spouse to change, and they appreciate that, and your future spouse is not going to ask you to change, because you guys are just so much in love with each other and there is a lot of respect and love and admiration here. It's like you guys together are stronger, 10 times stronger, right? As you can see in these patterns, they're so vivid. So it's like you guys are 10 times stronger together, and you guys are unbreakable. Like, I'm literally seeing a wall made of bricks, and it cannot be shattered, and people are like trying to break the wall for whatever reason. I'm so sorry that's what's coming through, but there are some bad people trying to get to you and your future spouse, but that just won't be possible, because I feel like there's something about the fusion of your energies inviting divine spiritual protection, and it's being magnified. So no one's going to be able to touch both of you, because I feel like you both are needed by the universe. I feel like the universe looks at you two as a connection that is needed, as a dyad that is very rare. Your connection is very rare. I was recently watching Star Wars. I don't know why I was called to that, but I think I now know. I was watching the Star Wars film, and I watched the latest one with the characters Kylo Ren and Rey, and basically they are a dyad in the Force, okay? And it's a very rare occurrence. Maybe it happens like once in 1,000 years or something like that. And basically these two kind of mirror each other's energy, or they will connect with each other, and they'll be able to see where the other person is. Like, and I remember Kylo or Ben asking Rey, can you see my surroundings? And Rey can see him fully where he is, or and it's like, wait, but you're not here physically, so how do you know where I am? And I feel like you guys have that telepathy kind of connection. I'm also seeing like brain waves being sent to each other, but it's like you guys are communicating non-verbally. This is so much deeper than first impressions. But that's what this reading is about. But spirit is like, tell them this, tell them this, tell them what you see, tell them what you see. So yeah, I guess I have to tell you and be true to what I'm seeing here and what I'm witnessing. There's also something about you guys being stronger together. Now, if you guys see the Star Wars film, you guys are also like a dyad in the force, like in the universe. You guys are like I don't want to call it twin flame, but you guys are like how can I say this? What is the perfect example that represents co-partners? That's the closest. That it is not even the correct word, but that's the closest I'm getting. You guys are co-partners. You guys are co-partners with each other and also with the universe. You're here to create something. Maybe it's just a family. Maybe it's something small like a family or your own family, and you're choosing like a different way to live. If you've gone through trauma, you choose a very different way of parenting your children, and that's what I'm seeing here. So you guys are going to be great parents. You guys are going to be very sheltered from any external attacks, any people trying to separate you and your future spouse. I feel like it's not going to work. Yeah. Your future spouse could have trouble finding you or coming towards you. I feel like they see you. There is one person who's seeing the other, or one energy who's seeing the other, and then the other disappears. Or maybe like if you're at a party, you know, the one energy observes or sees, notices the other energy, the other person, and then the other person maybe leaves early. And then the person who noticed the other, they are kind of looking for that, like, where is my other half? And that is not to say that you're incomplete by yourself, but there's something about you having such a strong bond, and I don't know how this person is finding the other, but I feel like they just do, and things will kind of take off from there. That's what I just heard. You know, I thought usually sometimes messages will be like, oh, the masculine energy thinks the feminine energy is very attractive or beautiful, but there is none of that in your reading. I don't know why. Like, it goes beyond the physical from the get-go. So this turned out to be a deep reading instead of like a shallow reading, a superficial reading, unexpectedly. Because I definitely wasn't planning for it to be this way. But yeah, this was your reading, my pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoyed watching this beautiful painting. This is what it looks like. If you guys want to see it up close, this is what your painting looks like. And I'm gonna take the time to thank my dear loves who have watched this reading, anyone who clicked on this pile, my dear soul family. I would like to thank Sacred Painting. Thank you so much for allowing me the honor to channel for my pile number 3. I love you guys so much, and I'm sending you all of my love, and I'm sending your spirit guides and your future self, your future spouse, your higher self, all of my love and light. And hopefully I'll see you in my next reading. If not, I thank you so much for watching this one. Heart. Bye.